Our Lady of Fatima came and gave us a message of how we could create world peace and save sinners, and how we could make up for all the sins against her Immaculate Heart. And there are 4 parts to this message, which I believe is more important today than ever, more urgent. It was always very important, but even more urgent, I would say now. Part of that being praying for the conversion of Russia, which, as we can see now, we understand more and more why that was important and why it never stopped being important, and it's going to continue being important and something we need to pray for now. There are 4 parts of the devotion that go beyond that to the conversions of all sinners and for reparation for the Immaculate Heart of Mary for all the offenses against her. So the first part is the daily offering of sacrifices in reparation for sin and conversions of sinners. So getting up in the morning and offering up everything that we go through in our state of life and everything that comes to us as any form of a suffering or sacrifice or hardship, we can offer all of that up first thing in the morning and just say, Lord, this is for the conversions of sinners and for reparations, and keeping that attitude all day long. Sister Lucia considered the living out of this disposition the most fundamental and important everyday response to Fatima. So just that daily offering for reparations and conversions. The second part is the daily rosary. Sister Lucia said the Most Holy Virgin in these last times in which we live has given a new efficacy to the recitation of the rosary to such an extent that there is no problem, no matter how difficult it is, whether temporal or above all spiritual, in the personal life of each one of us, of our families, etc., that cannot be solved by the rosary. What she wants us to do is pray the rosary in reparation for sin, for the conversion of sinners, and especially for world peace. The third part of living the Fatima message is devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So, of course, we have the de Montfort consecration. There's another one, I forget who puts it out, but it's called 33 Days to Morning Glory. Some people like that one. And any way that you can be devoted to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, consecrate yourself to her, wear the brown scapular. And the fourth part is practice the first Saturday communions of reparation. So the point of this one is to do this for reparation for sins against the Immaculate Heart of Mary. There are a number of blasphemies that are continuing to go on against her. 1, against her Immaculate Conception. 2, against her perpetual virginity. 3, against her divine maternity, refusing at the same time to accept her as the mother of mankind. 4, by those who try publicly to implant in the hearts of children an indifference, contempt, and even hate for the Immaculate Mother. And 5, for those who insult her directly in her sacred images. The fourth part of the message of Our Lady of Fatima is to do the 5 first Saturdays. The 5 first Saturdays are on 5 consecutive first Saturdays of a month to go to confession, receive Holy Communion, pray 5 decades of the Rosary, and keep Our Lady company for 15 minutes by meditating on the mysteries of the Rosary. So you can meditate on 1 or all 15, but you just take that time to really meditate and spend time with Mary by meditating on those mysteries. This devotion makes available the graces necessary for the salvation of souls at the moment of their death. So that's the graces. It's not guaranteeing your salvation, but it's guaranteeing you the graces. So if you're having a hard time trying to figure out how you're going to get that all done in one day, there are ways to kind of be flexible about that. The confession can happen within 8 days of the first Saturday. And I think if you ask permission of a priest, you can be a little bit flexible on when you receive communion, I believe. Might want to just check with your priest when you go to confession, ask about that. But the idea being that you're trying to be more devoted to God, to Jesus through Mary, and offer comfort to both Jesus and Mary by doing these things. And so even if you're doing it imperfectly, there's value to it. God just wants us to stay in a habit of being very devoted to Him and really having a great devotion towards His mother. And if you just want to see what I'm reading from, if you want to take a screenshot of that, this is in a little book that I got from, it's put out by World Apostolate of Fatima. I actually got this when the pilgrim statue of Our Lady of Fatima came to my town. So I just put in a little donation and took that. And also I got this there too. They have it. It's this put out by World Apostolate of Fatima. And this I love. It has beautiful meditations by Sister Lucia, and some of the other people at her convent helped like put it together. So some of the words aren't exactly hers, but it has quotes from her on the mysteries of the Rosary, which I think is amazing, because if you think about it, you're praying to Mary and you're having help with your meditation by someone who actually met Mary. So her whole life was very devoted to Mary. So just remember, you've got your daily offering of your day for conversions and reparations. You've got your rosary for world peace and conversions and reparations. You've got consecrating yourself to Mary, either through de Montfort or whichever method you find most useful to you spiritually, that brings you most to a devotion and love for Mary and Jesus through Mary. And the fourth one being those 5 first Saturdays, which if you want to just do it ongoing, you can only experience more grace in your life and more comfort for Jesus and Mary. So I hope that you will start practicing some part of this. And, the most important part being that daily offering according to Sister Lucia, so that you're living in the spirit of Fatima, of everything being for reparation and conversion, and of course world peace. So have a peaceful, joyful day.